Hello, this is Grant, and welcome back to Dead Rising 2 Master Run, episode 28. Got a couple last things to finish up in the game. We gotta get Katie Zombrex. We're going to deal with our last non-story psychopath. And then we're going to clear up something with one of our survivors.
Roger, you idiot.
I think these have probably the best visual design out of any of the psychopaths in the game. There's these two magicians, with one brother who's extremely ambitious and one who really isn't. They're going to fight side by side with this guy here having a rocket cannon of some sorts, and the other guy carrying two swords. So, it's actually the other guy, surprisingly, the guy on the left here, the smaller brother, who is much more dangerous. The guy with the rockets, all he really does is stun you, but he's much easier to kill. Unfortunately, that means the dude with the knives just kind of runs away after that.
The most dangerous magic trick of all time. Sawing the lady in half.
So this is supposed to be some kind of trick, but it doesn't work at all. I don't know what they expected to happen. Like, they thought they were just like that good. Chuck has a great habit of showing up at exactly the wrong time. I'm really curious how they expected that trick to work.
Oh, look at Mr. Big Guy here. Everyone's a critic, aren't they? You think this is easy? I suppose you know how to saw a woman in half, right, Big Shot? We're professionals, okay?
Honestly, I feel like at this point, it's surprising that anyone is left, it's like still here.
You just want to tear us down.
Like, really, the only reason for them to be here is to like do this on live people and get away with it. It seems like hopefully they would be popular enough to actually
To have a very
get out and still have a career.
just for you. It's a little disappearing.
If we kill him, we can get that rocket launcher as well as the combo weapon to make your own using a lead pipe and a bottle rocket or firework. They're not too bad. There's a ton of food in here, and you can go get either the fish or you can get some painkillers if you want to make those. As well as, a neat little thing about them is you can see references to them all over the game, like in these little posters around. If you want, he can also stun Roger, but it's really not reliable. It is better to kill Roger first, but it's much more realistic to kill his brother because his brother is going to be the one who keeps stunning you over and over and making things difficult. And if you kill him first, then Roger will just constantly run away from you instead of coming in to attack. So I try to get as much damage as I can on Roger, but Reed is really who I'm going to have to deal with usually. Yeah, but it's an easy fight, I think. As long as you know what's available to you. It's really just more of an annoyance here, like how he's going to knock my gun out of my hands or he's going to charge you and whatnot. They don't have a ton of damage potential. Roger can kind of combo you, and that can really suck, but Reed, I don't really have any issue with. I love the fish over in the entrance. They're really easy to get. If you are having trouble, what you can do is just fight them as long as you can, grab some fish on your way out, heal up, leave, come straight back in. The fish are there again. They should not have healed, and just repeat. I get really fortunate there, and I get a lot of damage on Roger. You can also make Molotovs in here pretty easily. They don't really damage them, but it does make them stumble, and it's a nice little range weapon if you can get them together. I still am using the book that doubles health, so I can usually get away with taking like alcoholic drinks because they heal so much in comparison to some of the other foods, like the snacks. You also, of course, have the gun range in Palisade Mall, which can make this pretty simple if you have snipers and shotguns. And if you can get any combo weapon from the script, you should be okay. So now we just go on a little mission to go find Roger. For some reason, after you kill his brother, he doesn't like to come to you as much. And I think that might just be he's waiting for you to be off guard. So if you follow him, he's constantly trying to reset and like start his new pattern. So what happens is he just starts running away from you a lot. He's being surprisingly brave this run through. This is probably the fastest time I've killed these guys. And one of my favorite cutscenes. I feel like what makes this pair amazing is like how much character they fit in that that little cutscene at the beginning and the end. Like you can totally tell like the elder brother, I assume, is like probably some like huge asshole about everything and dragged his brother into this and was constantly like berating him. And how like the end of it he's like, oh, finally I can get back. Now there you can see the big poster of them above the entrance. It's a cool little thing. Great direction on that. One of my favorite scenes. Kind of reminds me of the cutscene in 1 where you're fighting the grocer, where he has like that sudden surprise, and I think you kind of get that again there. Because it is much better than when Chuck just makes a bunch of one-liners by killing someone. That's surprisingly not to my taste. Despite loving puns myself, I feel like they need to be a little bit... Gotta keep them classy and interesting. Just saying, oh, I saw what you did there when he falls in the saw. It's too cheap. Blow, low-hanging fruit. But so now we got a couple things we need to finish up. We have the peace art plant we had to pick up. We have to take back to Sophie. We have to give Zombrex to Katie at 7 a.m. And we also have the Family Feud quest we can do now. That starts over in, I believe, the Atlantica. It's where you fight Sullivan that first time, because now you can go on the roof. And there's a woman there who I believe is meant to look like she's going to jump, but it doesn't quite look that way to me. And you have to find her mother so that you can both go to the safe room together. I decide to go get Katie first because Family Feud takes a little while. You have to go back and forth a couple times. So I figured to go there. We have plenty of time before the military comes. And besides that, there's only like one big issue, which is the tape it or die team we're going to have to worry about. And there's not much you can do for them except be in the right place at the right time, because that scoop doesn't activate until like 45 minutes before the military gets there. And it is tough. Probably one of the tougher things in the game, honestly. I was thinking about going through and doing a top 10 list for Dead Rising 1 and 2, just saying what are the top 10 like just best weapons in the game, like best combo, or like the top 10 hidden gems or something like that, where there's a lot of weapons that if you have never tried or seen like used properly are actually extremely amazing. But, you know, a lot of people get set in their ways and might not try new stuff all the time. Like I think of like the mannequin in Dead Rising 1. Especially if you're a low level, it is an outstanding weapon because you get it as a mannequin and it's a heavy item, but you can break it apart and you get 5 separate weapons, namely the mannequin torso, which is an outstanding weapon. Easily on par with like a katana or something in that game. Well, like on this game, you'd look mainly at combo weapons, because there's only a few that are really worth going out of your way for, like the Blamba or the flaming bull skull. So I think I'll do that once I kind of wrap up Dead Rising 1 and 2. I'm looking to move over to Borderlands content after this. Feel like until I get Dead Rising 3, I'm kind of Dead Rising'd out. I'll finish up my 1 run for no zombie kills in Dead Rising 1, and then after that I think I'll be good for a while. I spent a lot of time on these games. I love them, but man, it's been quite the work. I've learned a lot. It's been quite the experience. I've never like had to know a game as well as I've had for this. It's like series. It was Vicky. Different name. It's kind of a neat little scoop. I like that they add scoops like that. I wish there was more like scoops all around. You could decide what to do and they would give you different rewards. But overall, I think there's enough in the game. Maybe it's just because me is a high level. I wish there was more because I'm doing them all.
Dad, you didn't let me get to the save point. I'm gonna have to restart.
Zombrex seems like quite the terrible thing to have to put up with. Because as far as the game tells you, it's like take it before 7 and you overdose and die. Take it after 8 and you're a zombie. I assume part of that's just like gameplay mechanics, and the rest is just like to keep things interesting and tense, but
Chuck, the rescue's coming soon. Sullivan said they'll save
so we got kind of a
bunker at
neat little
first
scene
light.
here.
There still might be people out there that we can help. If you can get them back here in time.
So
Never stops.
I feel like this is the point where This is from now until the end. This is like the final rush until the end, kind of. I just don't know how to put it other than that, but this is definitely kind of like this is the last Zombrex, I believe. And then after that, it's just kind of story. I really like the story in this game. Like, I don't actually like running a lot of the pointless scoops. It just seems really like, oh, I've done it before. Or like mechanically, I wish there was more gameplay associated with the scoops. Like, it's entertaining reading their stories, but after a while, mechanically, all I'm doing is going up, spamming A, and then I take them back. In a way, like, I actually like the scoops that actually change things up, like how you have to escort someone who can't walk very fast, but you also can't, like, hold them or something, or you're forced to escort them instead. I enjoy things like that. But after a while, yeah, doing some of these scoops, particularly after Dead Rising 1, it does feel a little bit like they're all kind of the same. So now we just got to head back to do Family Feud. We want to get that done before 6-1 because, if I recall, 6-1 is going to be when the military arrives, and that's got some rules around it that we want to be careful of. We don't want the game to end prematurely. But then we also need to pick up the Tape It or Die team, which, if you watch the series from the beginning, you've definitely heard me rant plenty about them. I really love this Willamette jacket. I don't think I talked about it in that episode because of the poker, but this is another jacket I loved wearing in 1. Unfortunately, I didn't have it in the Master Run because to do this, you need to do the Transmissionary achievement, which is get every single call in the game, and then you get to wear Otis's jacket. Looks good, makes me nostalgic, but tough to get in that game, and I don't have my original save file. But in this game, I'm not actually sure what I did to unlock it. I think it's just one of those just like classic things you get by one of the achievements, I believe. Or it might be just having a save from Dead Rising 1 on your hard drive. In all honesty, Family Feud's actually one of the better scoops. But I might be saying that just because I rarely go this late in the game unless I have an intent to finish it. So I really just haven't seen that scoop nearly as much as I have, say, like the Cook scoop or the Crazy Cure member. All in all, I do feel like Dead Rising 1 holds up a little bit better. I think 2, when you first get it, Dead Rising 2 has more to it. But once you're kind of through that more like fluff content, I don't know, like it does feel a little bit like it's all just kind of the same thing over and over again. Whereas that's true with 1 as well, but I just like the mechanics of 1. And maybe that's because I also have like a better background, so I also know how to avoid certain annoying situations. I guess it seems like Dead Rising 2 has a lot of restrictions, whereas Dead Rising 1, the restrictions are just difficulty. Like in 2, it's like, oh, you have to be wearing this set of clothing, and then it really sucks to have to like go all the way back, change, fix it. Or you have to deal with like these really annoying survivors. Whereas in 1, it's pretty straightforward. There's annoying scoops, but it seems more like it's on you as the player. Less of the game is out of your control than it is in 2. More of the game is in your control, I should say, than it is in 2. It's like here, like I know that, oh, she's just going to tell me to go get her mother. So it feels like it's kind of arbitrary, like go here, do this quest. Whereas 1, it would just be, you could prepare, like give an item if they need it, or deal with it as you go, rather than having to kind of come back here. I would love to see if you got an ability just to like say like a level 50 where you could request a survivor to be like on your back or something. Because that's something that's possible with other ones, but you can't like command them, even though it's much easier to deal with it. That would be a perk I would love. Especially in 1. Like, I will say, like, the good survivors in 1, I think, are a little bit better than some of the survivors in 2. But, like, the bar for, like, terrible survivor, like, the worst survivors in 1 are so atrocious, so terrible. But there's not really any, like, particularly bad survivors in this game. They're all kind of self-sufficient. easy to work with. I don't feel like I'm getting sucked into it or like yelling at them. Like in Dead Rising 1, it was constantly like just like you're not grabbed, you're not getting hit by zombies, you're just swarmed. Like just walk out, just like walk in a direction. Whereas the 2, they'll make bad decisions, but it doesn't seem like faulty AI. Like it's good behavior. It's annoying and a challenge, but it seems like part of the game. It doesn't seem like it's a bug. So I will give it that. And I'm really curious to see how it is in 3. I've heard that 3 is supposed to be fairly easy, just with like damage reduction and whatnot. So maybe they, with the AI, they just made it even better, where the AI leads you. I don't know. I think I'd like to see a new game series like Dead Rising, but with kind of a different paradigm and system. Like I talked before, like it'd be cool, I think, to have a Dead Rising spin-off that was more level based. So you're constantly in new environments you may not be used to. You're not constantly getting these habits where, well, every time you leave, you grab this weapon and you only use these. I'd much rather have it where, oh, you're new in a new environment, you gotta scrounge stuff up right then and there. You're forced to find food or be very careful in an unfamiliar environment. So, yeah. I mean, I don't think I want the whole series to go that way, but it'd be kind of nice to have something like that. Or maybe just like just more areas. Because I like how well defined and how many, like, I'm sure they iterated over the areas in Dead Rising 1 and 2 so many times to get them to that level of perfection. But it would also be nice to kind of have just like a lot of spaces for contrast. And I might just be saying that because of how much I've played recently. Overall, I would definitely recommend Dead Rising, particularly if you could get it at a really good price point. I'd say like Dead Rising 1 you can pick up for like $5 to $10. I think Dead Rising 2 is probably like 10 or something. Those are definitely worth it for those. Particularly because you can get through the game so simply and straightforward. Like, you don't have to go and play it for 60 hours. If you want just like something to play on a weekend, it's fine. Like, the one thing I like about it is like, oh, do I have time for like a run through of Dead Rising before I have to leave town or something? It's like, oh yeah, I know exactly, because I know it's going to take exactly 14 hours. Like, the game, other than cutscenes and other than loading screens, that is exactly how long this game is. So, well, not 14 hours. 14 hours is 7-day Survivor. So it's 2 hours per day, so 6 hours. Which, it's kind of interesting looking back and seeing stats in the series, is knowing the game's only 6 hours long or so, then how much time must be cutscenes and loading screens. Particularly loading screens in this game. Like, I really wish in 1, since I was cutting out all the cutscenes, I wish I kept a running tally all the way through and said, okay, I watched 3 hours of pure loading screens for this game. That would have been a really cool statistic for me to see, I think. I did learn recently that Dead Rising 1 takes place in 2006. And then Dead Rising 2 takes place a couple years after that. Let me give you the actual date here. One thing I'm looking forward to going forward is I recently started work on a Final Fantasy IX Master Run. I think that's going to be my next main Master Run. I have a resident expert, so to speak, coming in who's extremely familiar with that game, played like 20 plus times. And it's a pretty beloved game, and I believe it's one of the ones next in line for a re-release. Not counting FF7's remake they got going on now too. But it was a game I had played through once and I knew I could only scratch the surface of. So it's been a lot of fun going through that and with someone actually like pointing stuff out, talking about lore, because Dead Rising's story is good, it's interesting, they definitely put thought into it, but it's definitely nowhere near as deep as like Final Fantasy. Like, Final Fantasy has like 30, 60 hours of just pure story. So it's been a blast. So we take Camille back up here to her daughter, who I think is supposed to be like looking to jump. I guess I can kind of see it. I was really hoping that knife was going to stick. It seems like they really couldn't put her up on the ledge or something. Oh well, missed opportunity in my mind. But it's not going to be another scoop down. We just got to take these guys back to the safe room. I like how despite all the whole circumstances, she still has her little sunglasses hanging in her shirt. It's a neat little detail. One thing I want to test in this game is if you lose survivors in Dead Rising 1, they can actually become zombies. And they don't get the zombie skin, they just get the zombie AI. I really want to see that happen in 2, because it's something I thought was a thing. Like, it says like, oh, they're undead, but I didn't realize they actually fight you right then and there. It's cool. Really cool idea. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, check out one of the links below. Till next time, don't take your zombie safety for granted.